Hello, welcome back to another Value Third channel. I'm Jay from Jay's Books Corner, and today let's talk about the 23 books I read in June. The first book I read was Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I was pretty sure I was reading it like at the very end of May, and so it just carried over into June, or I started at the very beginning of June, like one of the first things I picked up. It was a 5-star. This is Alex Stern, book 1, as well as Alex Stern, as she is recruited to join Yale Secret Society's witchcraft, and she's like an advisor for it, and it's about her challenges, and there's like a murder mystery going on. It's amazing. I loved it so much, and it was a perfect 5-star in my opinion. Definitely one of my favorite books of the year, even though it was technically a reread. The next thing I picked up was Save the Cat's Rights novel. I have a feeling I probably read this like twice this month, but I won't count it once. This is my first time reading it this year, which is kind of crazy. I normally read about like once a year, twice a year. This simply is just because there's just certain sections that you read. Like I've read the whole book before. I read it when I first got it. I read the entire thing from front to back, and I don't agree with like 60% what's in here, but that's okay as a writer personally. But I do think structurally it's a good way to keep in mind acts, not so much the individual beats. Sometimes I follow that pattern, sometimes I don't. Really just depends on the story, but to have a good structure going into it and make sure that I do a good job with the re-edits or the restructure, I think it's a good thing. I also read Romancing the Beat, the story structure for romance novels, which is a bit different. I had to combine two structures together to like really build out this one structure for a story that I'm writing that I can't really talk about yet. I much prefer Romancing the Beat in general. I think this is a great beat sheet if you're writing romance novels or no, romance novellas, whatever it might be. I think it's excellent and you should follow it to a T. Oh my gosh, I counted that as a read? Okay. I read the Buffy Vampire Slayer tarot deck, which is exactly what it sounds like. The actual tarot deck itself is just what the cards mean. Yeah, it's there, I guess. Then I read Saga number 63. This is a part of Saga. I don't really know how to describe Saga anymore in my life. It's like Star Wars in space for adults. I gave it a 4, this issue. This was like 2 months ago issues. I need to buy the next 2, which I tend to do like every other month. We'll get to it. And then I read Buffy Vampire Slayer Volume 1, High School is Hell, which I didn't enjoy apparently. I gave it a 3. Honestly, there's just character choices in here that drive me fucking insane. I think I'm just, like, I'm not a purist when it comes to a lot of different, like, storms of, like, canon material or anything. And this is technically a reboot, you can do what you want. But excluding characters like Oz, Willow's whole entire growth and becoming who she is when she meets Tara, excluding Tara, which could pop up in a later, for sure. I never got to that point. But also the introduction of certain characters in certain areas and things are just annoys the fuck out of me. It just annoys the fuck out of me, and that's just what we have, okay? Then I read The Risk, which is Mindfuck number 1. I'm actually planning on reading Mindfuck number 2 this weekend. I'm going out of town, and I figured that little short thing is probably perfect for an out of town experience. It's by S.T. Abbey. I gave it a 4-star. I think actually like a 4.5 probably. This one, it follows a serial killer who's getting revenge for something we don't know, and the FBI analysis who's hunting her down, and they start a romance. And it's quite good. Then I read Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. I gave this one also a 4. I'm reading them along with V.E. Schwab on her reread experience over on her YouTube channel. Would highly recommend. It's freaking phenomenal. The books are good too, but I just love being there, and I want to be able to experience that conversation together. You don't have to have read the book. She's going through it. She's explaining it in great detail. Then I read Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo, which is the second book in the Alex Stern series that follows the events of the first book, which I just talked about earlier. This was also a 5-star. You should expect a video, don't know when, about me talking about my 5-star like second books in the series reviews, because they're short. It's a small number that I remember. This one definitely took the cake. And then I read The Half of It, a memoir by Madison Beer. This is it's a memoir that she wrote about her mental health and growing up in the industry so young and the complications that came with and things along those lines. So like a self-help kind of book. She's answering a lot of questions, how to deal with certain things. I think she does it pretty well. So overall, it was a good time. I recommend it. It was a 5. It did make me tear up. Then I read The Black God's Drums by P. Deja Clark. I enjoyed this person's work with Ringshot. I think Ringshot is just a little bit better, but I really like this one. This is like a Western setback and modernized version of like the South while KKK was going on, and it's a fantastical world, and we follow this character who is having to defeat these beasts type of thing. It was good. I liked it. And we have The Salt Grows Heavy by Cassandra Caw. You'll see more of this next month when a certain video comes out, but I will tell you this much. I gave it a 4. It was a verge. This is about a mermaid who's also a cannibal and her life when she goes up into this different society that does not have mermaids, I guess. I liked it. It was not nearly as good as some other Cassandra Caws that I've read, but was also better than some other ones. Bit of a disappointment though. Next we're going to talk about is Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. This one is also also a tiny bit of disappointment. I'm not really sure why. It's about a girl who's down on her luck who ends up going and working for someone who she had a crush on to become a nanny for kids that instantly combust. It's like their problem. And I like the message, and we talk about the message fully in the video that's going to be coming out with at the end of July. Oh, I don't know. I have such mixed bags on it. Certain of the endings, I should say. I don't know how much I particularly agree with. I gave it a 4. A 4.25. It had a very satisfying ending. We'll talk about more in that video. Not me realizing I read like 40,000 Shadowhunter things, but I forgot I read the one book. Hilarious. Found it again. The Chant Thorns by Cassandra Clare. This is the final book in the Last Hour series, or the second book to the second, like in the past. This takes place in 1903. Type of thing. I was reading this for 2 videos, and those 2 videos will hopefully see the light day. The spoiler reading vlog for Chant Thorns, which is going to be like 6 hours long, and then we also have the reread that I'm doing in timeline order for the Shadowhunters video, also part 1, which should be coming out sometime in July, hopefully as well. It was a 5. I don't know, okay? Like, part of me's like, no, it's 4.75. No, part of me's like, it's 5. I really don't know where I stand on the direct number, but it was beautiful. It was everything. I cannot wait to talk to you guys in great spoilery detail. Almost too much spoilery detail. We'll see if everything makes it. There was a point in the beginning of this book, for the first half, for that not a lot of the points and stuff are, where I read every 2 chapters and updated you. There's 39 chapters in here. Most of those updates were 10 minutes to 12 minutes long. I was insane, okay? And then I decided to do it like the little tabby route instead, because it was a little easier. It's come to a few problems, but that also does them officially out of the beginning era of Shadowhunter. Now we're into the 2000s, which is pretty crazy, because we're about to run through like 6,000 novellas. Because literally the next like 10 things that I read were Shadowhunter novellas in the past like 3 days, so let's go ahead and talk about them. The first one being The Rise of the Hotel Drummond. I can't tell you any context to like any of this. This follows Magnus as he's New York in the 80s. I got for you. Or no, 40s. 20s? 29. Then we have A Deeper Love that takes place during the UK wars that happened around that time as well. That's all I can really tell you. Oh, I can give you guys ratings. First one, The Rise of Drummond, was a 3-star. This one was a 5-star. Actually, A Deeper Love, I will have to tell you this much, could not recommend it more. Definitely one for every Shadowhunter fan out there, so you should totally read it. And then Learn About Lost is another crucial one, especially after you got done reading Chant Thorns. There's a few bonus epilogue novellas, and this is definitely one of those. This is also a 5-star. Then we have Saving Raphael Santagio, which is also, it's just been like one of my favorites for a long time now, and so I give it like a 4.5-ish stars. The thing here being, it's not really that important to like timeline order. I didn't really update you guys on it when I read it, because I really just talked about one central character that is important to the series as a whole, but not overall. It's hard to explain. Then we have The Fall of Hotel Drummond, which I gave a 3. I fucking hate Camilla. That's all I'll say. And then we have The Evil We Love, which I also gave a 3. I just don't like the circle. That's all I'll say. West End New York Institute finally pulled us back around, and I gave it a 4. Then we have The Wicked Ones, which I also gave a 4, and say is another one that I would say is very crucial to that epilogue to Chant Thorns, in case you're looking for more reading afterwards. If you want to follow the, I guess I'll say it. If you want to follow the Brother Zachariah storyline from those books and you want more information about it, these are the 2 novellas that do that. So that's all I'll say on that. Then we have Son of Dawn, which is Jason's introduction to the Shadowhunter world. Well, not introduction, but it is an introduction to our Shadowhunter world. But that was the books that I read this month in July. I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, let me know you guys' top read of the month. This by far was Hellbent for sure. My big standout. Oh my god, it was so good. I cannot stop thinking about that book. I'm probably going to end up buying it to reread it again. Not gonna lie to you. But that being said, what you guys' least favorite book of the month is? Honestly, I'm gonna go probably with The Salt Grows Heavy, just because it was so fucking disappointing. That's nor here nor there. And I'll talk to you guys all next time for another beautiful video. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.